Hello, this is Joe Kwon, the Connection Counselor, and thank you for joining us for another episode of 5-Star Facilitation, where we put the fun back in facilitation. So today we're going to talk about a final lesson in terms of facilitation that can really help you make a difference in your facilitation. And this final lesson has to do with how to bring all the lessons we've had together and bring them together and sort of cement them into a great package for when you deliver. So everything comes together. Because right now, there's bits and pieces here and there. And it can be very difficult when you're under pressure to remember all these little individual things. So the key, and I truly believe where most people lose some benefit that they could have in preparing for a presentation, is thinking about facilitation more as a sort of a task or as a role that they play. When in actuality, you want to think of it more as a performance, as if you're an actor or an actress. Now, think about what an actor or an actress has to go through before they're in front of the camera or before they're on stage, right? Do they read the script or thinking about it like a couple days before and then just go up on stage while the cameras are rolling, or all the other cast members are relying on them to know their lines and just kind of wing it? No, they are fully prepared and they have gone over nuances and they've thought about different aspects over and over well before they've even gotten close to getting on stage or getting on the set. So what I've noticed that a lot of presenters do, especially those that don't have as much experience, when they're about to facilitate, they spend a lot of time worrying about the slides or about the specific content, right? And getting that perfect, right? So getting the knowledge perfect. And they don't spend nearly as much time on delivery, right? So maybe they spend 80% of the time on the content and 20% of the time on the delivery. And what I would say is, especially if this is a facilitation where it's high stakes and you really want to leave a great impression, I would flip that ratio. I would spend 80% of your time on preparation and delivery and 20% of your time on content. Because generally what happens is we get so obsessed with picking the right word and the sequencing, and you know what happens once you get up there, all the cards get thrown up in the air and who knows where they're going to fall down, right? So by concentrating on the delivery aspects and preparing, then you will truly be able to bring your best performance to the facilitation. So easier said than done, right, Joe? How do you actually prepare? So a couple of tips I can share with you that have been really effective for me right before big presentations to, sort of high-powered audiences or just, lots of people. So the first thing to do is to go through the entire presentation, right? Without notes, just go through it as if you're there and just stumble and mess up and find the odd parts and go over and over and over again. As much time as you have, and this should be done like days and weeks before you even get close to the presentation. So by doing this, you're really going to get a realistic feel for how it's going to be when you're presenting. And also, you're going to help this get kind of into your bones, like into your memory. So it's not your short-term memory, but it's going to be more responsive in terms of you've already drilled this a whole bunch of times and you just kind of know what to do. So it's good to space it out, right? So you could do one couple weeks out and then wait a couple days and then another couple days, but just continue to do it. And you'll notice that the rough edges will get a lot softer and there'll be certain things that stick out and that you do more and do better. And there'll be other things that you're like, I thought that was really important, but you end up just leaving that out. So that's the first tip. So really rehearse, 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 right? The other thing you can do is get feedback. Now, a good way to get feedback is if there's some kind person in your family who will sit there, or a coworker who actually sit through the entire presentation and give you feedback. So that's really valuable. So they can tell you how you're coming, out or coming off to them. The other thing you can do is maybe there isn't someone like that for you. The next best thing, and it actually even has some advantages, is to film yourself, right? We all have video cameras on our computer or on our, mobile devices. Just film yourself doing it. Just get a tripod or just prop it up somewhere and film yourself from start to finish. The key is you really want it to sort of simulate the final sort of situation so you can really see how you're going to do and sort of the rough parts and the smooth parts. And the third tip I'd like to leave you with is your preparation should really be realistic. Make it as similar to what the final situation will be as possible. Do you have access to the room where it's going to be, or do you know where you'll be sitting and sort of the way the cameras and everything will be set up when you give that presentation? So practice in that exact environment. It doesn't really help you when you practice in the library and then you're going to have to talk in the coffee shop, or you practice at your in-laws' house, but the actual presentation is going to be in your house or at some office building. So you want to make some of the practice as realistic as possible. And sort of a corollary to that I like to do is, when we were able to go and do things more in the physical space, sometimes I would try to go see the space the night before and just stand there and say, well, look, how close is that first person? And how far back is the furthest person? And how loud would I need to speak if the microphone failed? Would people be able to hear me here? So when you get your mind in that ahead of time and you sort of frame things in a realistic situation, when you're actually in that situation and have to deliver, it's familiar to you. You feel more comfortable and you're able to be a much better facilitator. So that's our final lesson for the 5-star facilitation series. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. I really enjoyed it, and facilitation is one of the things I really love to do. And the only thing I love more than facilitating is to be in a meeting where there's another facilitator who's doing a really great job, because I hate wasting my time and being in a lame meeting where someone, doesn't really know how to facilitate, because it kind of brings the energy of everyone down. So I really appreciate it, and I hope that you take some of these lessons away and that they're beneficial to you, and that you can do a really great job at your next facilitation. I know you can do it. My name is Joe Kwon, the Connection Counselor. Thanks so much. If you'd like to hear more, I have more information at my website, www.connectioncounselor.com. If you'd like to discuss if there's anything I can do to help you make your next facilitation very enthusiastic, energetic, and have great collaboration, I would love to talk to you. Just reach out to me at joe@connectioncounselor.com. So everyone be safe. Thank you so much for your attention, and see you next time. Bye.